Okay, so the Battle of Midway occurred in June of 1942. And after Pearl Harbor, the United States Navy was mostly wiped out, and but there were a few aircraft carriers that were not in the base in Pearl Harbor. So the U.S. had a few aircraft carriers, and Roosevelt mobilized the factories, and women were going to work in all the factories across the country because many of the men had left to go to war, and they were building ships at an incredibly fast rate. Many of the dormant factories from the Great Depression were now building weapons and ships and boats and planes. And so by June of 42, about 6 months after Pearl Harbor, the United States had still had no victories against the Japanese. Midway would be the first victory against the Japanese. So Midway occurred in June of 1942. It was a large naval battle and was America's first victory against the Japanese. Okay, so we see here a map and about the Battle of Midway. And if you see on the right, you see Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. A little up to the left, just to the left and up a little bit, you see Battle of Midway, June 1942. So there was a 3-day fight between American ships and Japanese ships, and the United States had no victories before this yacht against Japan. But due to the fact that American factories, mostly being operated by women because most men had gone to war, were churning out guns, planes, and ships at a very high rate of pace, um, and and um, and so the U.S. Navy was building up very quickly to do a lot of work on the home front. And so this battle occurred, and some crafty moves by the U.S. Admiral defeated the Japanese, who were not expecting to lose this battle. And they withdrew, and the U.S. won this 3-day battle between Japanese and American ships. Then we see here Battle of Midway. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japanese armies rolled over Southeast Asia, Philippines, and the East Indies. The war was fought on land, sea, and in the air. The turning point in the war came in the Pacific in June 1942, which is the Battle of Midway, a 4-day battle between giant aircraft carriers. The U.S. destroyed hundreds of Japanese planes and regained control of the Pacific. Japanese continued to fight on, however, even after the war in Europe was ended. So this is talking, they're going 3 years ahead, this statement, but still, the Japanese still had a way superior Navy even after the Battle of Midway to the American Navy. And there were many other battles that went on for literally 3 more years. But Midway was the first victory. That's what its importance is. A picture of planes fighting, American against Japanese coming off of aircraft carriers, and all kinds of action around Midway Island. Ships firing at planes in this over 3-day battle of Midway. There was here's that film. Yes, Midway, the film that was just in the theaters about 6 months ago. The one battle that turned the tides of the war. And that particular movie it's a good movie. It goes into, in the beginning, Pearl Harbor, and then the rest of it's about Midway. Um, but this was a victory, this battle, but an unexpected victory. Okay, another military map of the area in Midway. So Midway was again in June of 1942, was the first American victory against the Japanese. And the Japanese withdrew, though they still had a very strong military navy. but it was the first victory, which is why important too. The first victory for America in World War II. This large sea battle.